All right, it is time to solve this problem once and for all. Chances are, if you're watching this video right now, you're probably struggling with being consistent on YouTube. And I get it. If you have a full-time job or if you're running a business, it's hard to be consistent on YouTube. So today, I'm trying to cure it once and for all using this book. Now, Atomic Habits is probably the book that got me started in my whole journey when it comes to business, YouTube, self-improvement, and all the rest. And I honestly think if you follow the principles in the book, you can learn to be consistent on YouTube as well. Now, I will warn you though, because some of the principles in the book seem a little bit counterintuitive, but stick with me. Principle number 1, mastering the art of showing up. Now, this is probably the most crucial part of it because here's how most people start YouTube. They probably get into YouTube because they've watched all their favorite creators make these honestly very good videos and they're like, okay, I can do that. But then they soon realize that no, you can't do that. And that's okay because you're new, but if you say to yourself, I can only make great videos, then it'll probably stop you from making any videos at all. And honestly, this is how I was for literal years before I started my own channel, is I had all these different ideas of videos I wanted to make, and I got stuck in the research and the planning and doing all the things except actually making the video phase, where I'm sure a lot of people still are. But here's how I finally overcame that. Instead of making my goal to make some great YouTube video, I just needed to get one video out there, regardless of the quality, and actually, I intentionally made it a bad video. I spent very little time putting the video together, did basically no editing, and I hit publish, and then nothing happened. But what it did do is it got me over the hurdle of making that first video. So if you're really struggling with consistency right now, a lot of times it is just lowering your standards and saying, I just need to get a video out this week. I don't have to make a great video. I don't even have to make a good video. I just need to show up and I need to get a video out this week. And honestly, I think that's the ultimate cure to perfectionism. Now, you might be asking, well, how do I actually master the art of showing up? Because the reason I'm watching this video is because I don't know how to do that. Well, that's where principle number 2 comes in, the 2-minute rule. Okay, so this is the one that's going to seem counterintuitive, but I promise it can work. So one of the main times that I used this the most was when I was trying to sit down and read physical books. Now, after high school, I would almost never read physical books. Now, the thing was, once I sat down and actually started reading, it was pretty easy to continue to go. But the problem was, I never got the book out and sat down and actually started reading. And that's where the 2-minute rule comes in. So instead of making the goal to read a certain number of books a year, or to even read a book, your goal is to sit down and read for 2 minutes. Now, I do understand that if you're only reading for 2 minutes at a time, it's going to take you a heck of a long time to finish a book. But here's why it's so effective. Because I think that we all kind of understand that often the hardest part of doing something is just starting it. So if you can make that as easy as possible, then you are going to be much more likely to stick with it and continue to work on it. So for YouTube, your goal might be to sit down and write a script. But instead, that goal becomes sit down, open up Google Docs, and write one sentence. Or if you're coming up with ideas, then you want to sit down and write out one idea. Now, even by making all of these steps as easy as possible, most people just never get around to it. And that's because they're missing principle number 3, implementation intention. So what if I told you there was one thing that you could do that would increase the likelihood that you would actually stick to your habits, and it only took less than a minute to do it? So to show how powerful this is, let me tell you about 2 groups of people who were trying to work out consistently. So group A just said that they wanted to work out consistently, and group B used an implementation intention. Now the crazy thing is, just by using an implementation intention, group B actually stuck with it and worked out so much more consistently than group A. Now, what is an implementation intention? Simply put, it's writing down when and where you're going to do something. So group A knew that they wanted to do it at some point, but group B, they actually wrote down like Monday at 7 a.m. I'm going to put my shoes on and I'm going to go run for 20 minutes. And just by writing that out, it made them much more consistent. So if you want to be consistent, write down when and where you're going to do each part of the process. And actually, I created a whole guide on how you can create a YouTube video a week in just 4 hours. And one of the elements in there is a weekly schedule, so you know exactly what you should be working on and when. And on top of that, it also shows my process for coming up with ideas. It gives you proven titles and thumbnails that work in any niche, and it shares my tips and resources that will help speed up your editing. So if you want access to that, just click the first link in the description. Okay, so with principle number 4, I want to help you avoid something, because I've seen some people that make 100 videos, and they do it consistently, but the problem is video number 1 and video number 100 don't look that different, and because of that, they aren't actually growing. So how do you make sure that doesn't happen? Principle number 4 is you need to get 1% better with every single upload, because the difference between a good video and a great video isn't like one major change, it's 100 small improvements. And if you use the strategy I'm about to tell you, you're going to be so much better at making videos by the end of it. All right, so here's the plan. So what you want to do is after you make a video, you want to hit upload and you want to watch it. And then you want to write down what is one thing that you can improve for the next video. And you actually want to write that down so you have it for next time. And this could be anything. It could be your on-camera presence. It could be how you edit the video, creating a better title, a better thumbnail. There are so many different things that you can improve, but you need to choose one of them. You need to write it down. And for the next video, you want to make sure that you're improving that part of the video. And honestly, just by doing that one thing, I promise you, if you make 100 videos and you improve one thing, your videos are going to be unrecognizable to when you start it. Now, I will say something that even if you are consistent on YouTube, that doesn't guarantee that you're going to get views. One of the biggest problems I see so many YouTubers struggling with is creating a good title and thumbnail. So if you want to know how the biggest YouTubers basically force you to click on their videos, you can watch this video.